So I heard a guy say, I think it was on the Joe Rogan podcast, but if you want something and you're willing to go after it, something like, I'm paraphrasing because I have no idea how exactly he said it, but basically, if you want something, go after it when you're young, when you can basically damn near be homeless and you can put all your money on here for whatever reason. And that irritated me because when you're older, you get married, you can't. And the words can't came out of his mouth. And that irritated me to such a degree because what I'm going through is hard as hell. Working full-time, going to school full-time, and being a wife. And I know after 3 years of bitching, complaining, crying, whining, and pouting, my husband is getting to the point where he's like, either quit or stop or something. You know, he's it is possible, and I will fucking crawl through the mud and the muck and the mire to do it. He says that if you have a goal, that is your goal. Nothing should get in the way of the goal. It's not that I don't think anything gets in the way of it. Everything gets in the way of what you want because it's what you want. It's what you desire. So life is going to throw everything at you because it wants you to prove that you actually want it. Not quitting is the hardest thing. Why? Because there's so many distractions. You will be distracted with everything at any given point in something that you desire. I haven't worked out in a while. I got myself overloaded this year, so I didn't work out. I'm bitching about it because it's annoying, but somehow between pulling a muscle, causing my arm to only raise so far, and I'm learning how to fight through that. I have lowered my calorie intake, probably because of the 2 weeks of pain, but that's the thing. I've lowered my calorie intake, so I know, and I did that subconsciously. I don't eat nearly as much, and what I eat, I'm changing it. Like, I'm eating a lot more vegetables, a lot more fruits, less meat, less sugars. I do have sugar. I'm not even gonna lie on that. Especially when I get really emotional. It's like the greatest comfort food in the world. But I try very hard to limit it because it is that comfort food. With me being busy with trying to deal with school and everything else, my husband's looking better. He's back up to 220, benching 220. I'm getting almost where he is. I think he'll actually get to where he is this summer if I don't get injured again. Because he spent about the same 2 weeks not working out because of I don't have a pain tolerance, and he's actually really shocked that in 40 years I haven't built one up, but I avoid pain. And that's the thing. I've avoided pain for 35 years of my life. How do you avoid pain? Well, you can't avoid all pain, really. You really can't. You have self-sabotage, you have people letting you down, you have like high expectations of others, and they will fail you no matter what. And you won't realize that it's your fault. It's not your fault that they let you down, it's the fault that you had such high expectations for a fallible creature. Right? It's like, they're going to fail. This is human nature. You have to accept that no one is perfect and that they're going to fail. Your anger stems from the fact that you have such high expectations of them, whether it's through love, respect, or just you want someone to be that hero, that they're going to let you down. It's if in the end they don't quit trying that you should look at. The fact that if they don't give up trying to do whatever it is that you think that they are so good at, that they let you down all the time, but they keep going after it. That is the determining factor, is that they don't give up on trying. I get so mad at myself because I feel like I'm in a dark room punching at air and I'm not getting anywhere. Yeah, I know each year I do pass. Like, I took chemistry 3 times just to pass that one class, and it's just going to get harder, and I know that. I've got this class that I'm finishing this week, and I go chemistry 2 this summer that I have to pay for because I dropped it. I didn't fail it. I dropped it before I failed it. And I got to build up my GPA to at least a 3.0. It's at a 2.6, I believe. 2.7, I think. And I'm going into UCO, which is the University of Central Oklahoma. In the fall, I got accepted, as long as I can figure out how to pay for it. Which I'll probably end up doing the loans again, and I'm fighting how to do scholarships. So fun! But I digress. Basically, if you look at the fact that you're in a dark room and you're fighting and you're not hitting anything, that is a self-defeating feeling. Why? Because you think you're not gaining any ground. But with each step, with each punch, you are moving. The problem is you don't see the destination. Even though you started out with an incredible goal in mind, and that you keep getting reminded of that goal daily, almost multiple times a day, through different things, you still feel like you're in a dark room punching at air. The fact that they say mentors are great, learn from them, study them, listen to them. They can teach you the things you want to know. Because quite frankly, I don't think there's been pretty much nothing new. Now I say that, but they just have different spins on what is new. And they might be incredible. So, but in all fairness, that if you have a goal big enough, and you can have little mini goals, but it all leads up to the main goal, then it don't matter what part of the room you hit, right? Like, let's say you hit a wall. It's not the door to where you want to go to. It's just like a dark ass hallway, and you run into a door. Well, or you run into that wall. Well, that wall could just be a goal that you're about to complete, or that you're almost there, and it's that home stretch that they talk about. That last bit, that is the hardest of all. But it's the hardest of all because the minute you get that much closer to getting your goal, or that part of the goal, you know that there's a longer trip ahead. Like, you don't see the finish line. You see a finish line, but then you realize that it's just like a mile marker. and it can be the most self-defeating feeling in the world, because the closer you get to it, the more you realize it's just a mile marker. And then you realize that, quite frankly, even though it's just a mile marker, you're one step closer. I've always looked kind of on the negative side of things. I know that sounds weird, but I see the bright side for other people. I can tell you the bright side of almost any tragedy in your life. But in mine, it's harder. And I think that, I don't know if that's like for everybody, but it is for me. And I'm struggling with what I'm going through right now. And I keep punching at the wall and finding air. But I know it's going to lead me further. Because I'm definitely further than I've ever been before. So I know I'm gaining some kind of ground. Does that make sense? The thing is to not quit, my husband says. So the problem that he seems to find is that he thinks I'm going to. I can't convince him that I can't. And I haven't quite figured out why I have this force pushing me further and further into what I'm doing. Other than it's everything. I can say that I want to prove my family wrong. That I'm nothing that they thought. Except the funny part is I would be proving people wrong I don't talk to. Because of that very fact. That they've, you get mad at people and you stay mad at them, and they moved on with their lives and they couldn't remember what the they said back then. And that's fine. And I know that, but it's still there. Because it's been drilled into me for so long that there's a part of me that is still that nothing. That feels that nothing that's there. It's like if you ever watch The Never-Ending Story and you have the nothing and they're trying to get ahead of it. Well, that's what I'm trying to get ahead of, the nothing. I was never voted most likely to succeed. I don't really know if I even had a title in high school. I think I was that relevantly irrelevant. What do I mean? Apparently everyone knew me, and I've made an impact on some lives, but not an amount to have stood out. I think it was my look that stood out, not me. I mean, I think it is an amazing fact that I looked at myself as nothing. that I'm not sure what other people saw. I convinced myself I was nothing, but other people saw something. So it was weird. And today, I am still that relevant. I am still internally screaming at the top of my lungs for people to actually hear me, that I have something to say, that it's important. And visually, I look around and I don't see very many people, even though there might be. That if you to yourself are relevantly irrelevant, how will you ever succeed? You won't. My husband says I could actually have everything I want. All my goals. I could have everything I'm working so hard for. And I'll never see it. Which is weird, because when I have these little introspective moments, I see how far I came. I've seen where I was and where I've come. And yet, I almost can't see my hand in it. And to me, that is the weirdest thing of all, is I can't see my hand in my success. I can tell you everyone else's point in my life that helped me get to where I am. Yes, I've done the work. Yes, I've had to fight. Yes, I pushed myself through. I could tell you my strengths. I can show you my weaknesses. But in the end, it is so much easier for me to say it's because of this person than I can say that I worked my ass off to get here. And I wonder who else is like that. I don't know. I like to do these little introspective things to make people think, because I don't know if it's like the norm or not. I mean, because basically I'm having a one-sided conversation out loud with myself, which all my life I've done that, except now people call me crazy. I'm not as crazy doing a dark video. But I like the fact that I do my dark videos, because if you actually take the time, I think it's because it's how people see me. It's like, my husband said, you are a very unique person to get to know. Just looking at you, no one would want to get to know you. But for a certain type of person, they see something in you. And it is when they see that in you, because it takes a certain kind of person to see a light in you. And when you connect with those people, then your light shines through. But if you don't see those people, then you're just another face. It'd be like everyone has a story, and I'm like, my book is blank. Like, looking at me, there's nothing really special. But if you talk to me long enough, there's more there than meets the eye. And for the ones that saw the light, I will always be thankful for all my life. But Yeah. All I can tell you is to keep punching at the darkness. I heard a motivational speaker saying if your dream or what you're going after isn't life to you, if you can't breathe without it, like you can't see a world that you're not doing it, then it's not much. I don't know why I have this path, why I want to revolutionize the medical field, why I have. It seems to me sometimes that my husband is gaining everything that I want and I seem to be falling apart physically, when I know it's just my path to fight. He asked me one time, do you want me to stop? I said no. It's funny how I started this. I wanted to do so many different things. It keeps changing and morphing, but it's always the same goal. To show people that they are something. No matter what nothing you think you are something. And that until you see it, until you get that in your core, you're gonna be just sitting in a dark room, screaming at the top of your lungs for someone to listen to you. When all you have to do is turn on the light and you will see everyone there. Being alone has nothing to do with the amount of people around you. It's a battle within. Your claim that you have no friends or no one likes you, it's a battle within. The greatest and the only battle you face is within you. Nothing else. There are no boogeymen. There's far few things to be scared of. The only thing to fear is fear itself, right? And no one understands the simplest way that means is simply your greatest fear, your greatest weakness, is that little voice inside your head. And I'm not asking you to shut it up, because if you shut it up, you change who you are, and if you change who you are, then the greatest part about you ceases to exist. You can try to work with it. It's hard. You can listen to it. That's self-destructive. Or you can overcome it. You don't have to bully it into submission. You don't have to befriend it. You just have to say, this is not who I am. It might be who I was. It might be, this is who I could be again. But it's not who I am. So I'll keep doing these videos, because if I talk to myself long enough, loud enough, maybe it'll sink. And maybe, just maybe, I'll turn on the light. Love you guys.